Hi, everybody. Today, I want to talk about the bees and about what I heard that the bees and the beavers they keep the Shabbat or Sabbath, right? Uh, for the ones who don't know what Shabbat and Sabbath is, that's the day, the seventh day of the week, which is the Saturday here in English, right? Which Yahweh or Jehovah Yahweh, our Creator, Creator of the whole universe, told us to keep that day, the seventh day. We have to keep that day. That means no work on that day because it says there in Genesis that God created the heaven and earth and everything that was in it, all the living beings, all the nature. And finally, on the seventh day, God rested and blessed that day. So it is something very important to know which day that is because that's the day where we are blessed, right? When we watch the things that are going on in this world, we realize that there is a mess. The calendars have been all messed up. We had the calendar, and then the Pope changed the calendar. Now we have the Gregorian calendar. Even before that, we had the Roman calendar. So it's gone through many changes. And not just that, the whole world followed different calendars. So we don't live just in this Gregorian calendar. The Muslims follow their lunar calendar, and China also another calendar. The Jews their calendar, but there is always these contradictions because the Jews they also lost their scriptures, and what they have now is something that they wrote 1,000 years after Jesus' death, right? So we are stuck in a rut. We have a problem. And I see also among the Christians, Messianic Christians, they also have these confusions. And many of them, they keep it on Tuesdays. And the other group keep it on Saturdays. So I believe it's very important to know whether or not we are keeping the right day. So if the bees are doing this according to instinct, which God put in them, then basically we will have an easy task. We watch the bees and we find out, right? The beavers, like for me, it's impossible. I never crossed away of a beaver. Here in Florida, there is no beavers. There is just one guy, one Seventh-day Adventist guy. He studied the beavers and realized that the beavers don't do any work on Saturday. But this is a one person. I will think that if people who are preaching all over from all pulpits, right, they would like to know which day it is, right? But there is just one single man. And this for me is troubling because it could be a biased result because he is from Seventh-day Adventist and he wants to prove the world that he is doing the right thing, right? And the Shabbat, that's Saturdays, even despite all the mess that we have in the world with all calendars, that we are keeping the right day, right? Um, Not even talking about the mess of the years that sometimes is one day more and then one day less. So how can they know, right? At least of my part, I decided to watch the beast and see if it is really true. Because for me, it is very important. And I know that for many people, it might not mean much, but for a person who is seeking the truth, that will be something very important to know. I decided to watch the bees for a week, right? Watch the flowers around, and here I have the report. Okay, I started on Friday, July 18, 2025. As you can see, there is a lot of activities among the bees and the flowers. And our Shabbat day, Saturday, July 19, 2025. Again, the bees super busy, did not rest on that day. So now we have Sunday, July 2025, the day which most Christians in the whole world keep holy. But again, as you see, the bees, they keep busy the same way as on Saturday. And Monday, 21st, 2025, the same way you see the bees are all happy around the flowers and they're still not trying to take a day of rest. And Tuesday, July 22, 25, the same thing, the bees is still working. Wednesday, July 23, 2025, again, I went outside and I found our busy friends is still working. Finally, Thursday, July 24th, 25, that is the completion of 7 days. That will be the whole cycle of the week. And as you can see here, I still found the bees working. What does that mean? So, by my observations, the bees, they don't keep the Shabbat, right? Uh, but there could be many consequences on this, but there could be many other factors, right? Uh, I'm not a beekeeper, so I don't know exactly in details. I've just been observing the bees on the flowers, and some they are far away. It could be that some of these are wasps and not bees, right? Uh, there are also other possibilities. Um, well, and in this case, like the wasps, we could say, oh, okay, just the bees, they keep the Shabbat, but the wasps not, right? Uh, is it possible? Yep, it could be. Uh, so the best thing would be is to have a bees colony and be able to observe it straight like every day. So I am not a beekeeper and I cannot do that. If anyone who watches this wants to do this study, while if you are a beekeeper, that will be perfect. But there are still other things that we need to consider, right? Because as far as I know now, I know that here in Florida it's like that. When someone has bees in their roof or anywhere where they don't belong, wild bees, right? Uh, it is the law that the ones who come to remove the bees, if they will keep those bees, not kill them, right? They have to replace the queen. So the original queen doesn't get to live anymore. A controlled nature is not according to the original creation. Let's put it this way, it's a GMO queen bee that replaces the original mother, right? We could have all these circumstances playing around, even if a person has a colony at home, is a beekeeper, and observes the 7 days and realizes that the bees are not keeping any day, right? Uh, the best thing will be that we could get one of these wild bees who have been flying around in the nature according to God's creation and be able to observe those in a colony and know that those are bees and not wasps, right? Well, that was my study, and I hope it helps some people who are trying to know whether or not the bees keep the Shabbat. I saw some other videos, but it was not a deep observation, and I don't believe we should take any just one witness, someone just who is trying to convince people to do what he or she does. I don't think that's a good thing. Don't take just my word for it, but I would rather love to see other studies, someone else who goes through the process and keep track for 7 days so we can compare the situation and see how it is. if the bees really keep the Shabbat. Because if they stop one day of work, that's most likely that that day is the Shabbat, right? And that would be a wonderful thing that the nature is telling us which day to keep. Well, I I wish you all a blessed day, and please put comments down below if you did any observation like that, if you know of any video where they did this study, because I've been searching and I didn't see any deep study on that, just like their assumptions, right? But yes, if you do any of this study, please share that video with me. I'd love to watch and see the observation. Thank you. Have a blessed day.